Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we proudly present our spectacular show of podcast magic and imagination full of Disney wonder, news, and pop culture. It's the Main Street Electrical Podcast with Jenn Dave and David Dollar.
Let's get started.
All right.
3, 2, and 1. Hey, Jen.
Hey, Dave.
It's the Main Street Electrical Podcast. Welcome back to the Main Street Electrical Podcast. Thank you so much for joining us once again. And it's exciting to be here. Another week talking about Disney. Another week talking about fun stuff. And I'm having to turn all my phones and stuff off because everything is shining.
So you've got, quasi-producer Heather is texting us right now, actually.
Right, exactly.
That's what,
So
I know
let's-
that's what it was
okay.
because I saw it.
All right, since Heather is texting us, let's just hear on the show, make sure that she's okay because she is very important to us.
She is.
And,
Let's make sure she's
let's see.
okay.
Okay, she's good. All right, so to make sure,
Okay, good.
because I don't want her to come back going. You got my text, but you didn't respond. We're recording. So Jen, how'd you Disney this week?
Well, I am Disneying this week by I am wearing my Disney swag, which is how I Disney when I'm not in Disney. So I've got my
Right.
Walt Disney World shirt on with my sparkly hood. I referenced this one last week, so I actually wore it this week.
Right.
And with my Spaceship Earth themed headband
I like
because
it.
Epcot is the best. So
Oh, Agent EAL would be so proud. Yeah, she loves Epcot.
She loves
Very
Epcot.
cool.
I think actually she looked at it. She was like, "Where did you get that?" I was like, "It was on Etsy."
Etsy is wonderful. I mean, I've
Yeah.
even. It's not really a guy place. There's not a whole lot of guys that goes to Etsy to
but-
look for stuff. But you can get lost in Etsy. Like you go in to
can.
look for Disney stuff, and it's like, oh my gosh, there's so much stuff. This
Yeah.
is incredible. So, I had something that arrived in the mail yesterday via Amazon, and it is a Thor Avengers swag.
Wait, let me see it. I can't see it.
Oh, hold on.
Wait,
You know
is
what?
this the shawarma?
This is the shawarma.
Is
Here's
this
what
the
we're gonna
last
do.
one?
Let's take off our background here.
Let me
so that way
see.
we
Yeah, so I can
uh,
see. I can see where it
it's the
says
last
Avengers.
one,
but
and boom.
oh,
There it is right there. Now I haven't had time because I got this last night. I haven't had time to open them all up and put them all together because if you can see here,
They interlock.
they
right?
interlock. All of them do.
Yeah.
And you see, of course, there are the 6 there on the back that came, and I was able to get Captain America, Iron Man. I got all of them. This has been over a year's worth of purchasing. Like
right.
every 6 to 8 weeks, a new one would come out. You could pre-order it after you get the one that just was released.
Okay.
About $100, $115 worth of purchasing. Well, now my new quest is, and this is. These have already been released, and so now I'm like, do I do this on the perchance they're not available? You can buy them. There's a scene in the Avengers where it's basically like it's one of the most famous shots in the movie. New York has been swarmed by the Centauri, and
Right.
this camera does this swing around of all 6 of them, and there's
Yeah.
like Iron Man holding, and there's Thor with this hammer, and there's
Yeah.
the bow, and then there's a little Black Widow with a gun. Like this, it's really amusing. Which Scarlett Johansson has said that when she watched this in the theater, she knew that one scene. She was like, "That's when I knew this whole thing was going to work. That's when I knew everything was going to be incredible." After that, she's like, "That one scene, how incredible that looked was just that was it." And so there is a scene, there is a set with 6 of them where you can purchase, and they all interlock together to make that scene as well.
Oh, that's cool.
But they've already been released, and so I'm running the chance of what if I get 4 of them, and like it's been 3 years since they've all released, and
then you have to stock eBay for the other ones.
Exactly. And I could go out and buy them, but I can't justify to my dear Stephanie. So what'd you buy for Amazon? It was $110. Well, it was actually 6 things. They were all like $20 a piece, so it really wasn't.
It was like $20. Like it's
$20.
fine.
Well, what was it? Well, you know how I've got some Funkos in my house back here? She's like, the ones in the boxes you don't do anything with. Yeah, they're right here. The ones you have nowhere to put them. Yeah, those. Well, I bought some more. You bought another Funko? 6 more? So it's easier to have them delivered one at a time. Sometimes in the cover of darkness, they sit on the porch, and I just kind of open the door real quick.
Aren't you glad
zip
that
'em in
lovely
real quick,
Stephanie does not listen all the
Oh,
time?
well, she knows I have a podcast because I come up here and do it. She knows I have 2 actually, and every now and then she'll even oh, there it goes. She'll even say something online, like, hey,
Yeah.
Dave has a podcast or whatever. But I will say, She does support our agents because I noticed
She
past
does.
week she'll go through and
She
comment
does.
on a bunch of stuff. She commented on one of Agent Jody's things, and I don't know that I've ever even mentioned Jody to her. And she's like talking to Jody about blah 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 mask or whatever, and just it's really kind of funny. She's very supportive that way. So
She
so
is.
anyway,
She's awesome.
We got to have her and Brady on the podcast because I think that would be incredible. We need to work that out to where the one with the spouses, which would be a lot of fun, and they could just commiserate about being married to a travel agent for Disney. Excuse me. In case you're listening, Marcy, a travel agent that specializes in selling Disney, not
In Disney
travel
destinations.
agents.
In
Exactly,
Disney
not a Disney
destinations.
travel agent. Let's make sure the
Correct.
distinction so nobody is there. That's,
Thank you.
Just so we know. So let's talk a little bit about some news. We got a lot of news to get to, and so let's go. All right, Jen, we're going to start right here at the top, starting on March 1st. This is all you. Grand Floridian refurbishment. We've been talking about it. We need it. The Grand Floridian apologists have been very open about the fact that I love the Grand Flo, but it does have a few things it needs to touch up on. So,
Yes.
how excited are you for this?
I am very excited because it has. Listen, you know I love me the Grand. I love.
Of course you do. Yep.
I love it.
Yep.
I usually stay in the villas, but if you are in the regular rooms, the bathrooms need an upgrade. I'm still happy to be there.
I was going to ask
don't
you
get me
about that.
wrong.
What you thought they needed to really, really focus on.
The bathrooms would be the main thing to me. Also, they still have the carpet. They haven't swapped over from the carpet to the hard floor yet, which is what they're kind of doing in general.
Right.
So I feel like that might be what's on tap. However, the bigger thing, and I'm fairly certain, I can't say that this is official. I think this actually has to do with converting a building to more DVC because DVC is always sold out there.
Right.
So I think that's part of what's happening.
Okay. You think they'll turn one of the outer buildings into a DVC building like they have with the villas?
That is what somebody said. So I believe that to be the case, but again,
well, I know that they are always reliable, so that's what they say. I can usually.
Well, no, this is from a fellow DVC member.
Okay,
so
well, there you go. Good,
yeah,
good.
Which is why it probably is correct.
Right.
But I do know that the rest of the resort, it does need a little bit of TLC. They put a lot into the Polynesian. Actually, they converted the two buildings to DVC at the Polynesian, and then they gave the rest of the Polynesian some love. So I think that's kind of where we're at with the Grand as well. But I am very excited for it.
So I've never been a girl, nor have I played one on TV. So for a dude, and I think guys listening to this can relate, basically I need a working sink, a fairly clean sink. Nobody likes to shave in a sink that's disgusting. A sink, quick, brush my teeth, shave, whatever, and a shower with hot water, maybe a towel bar accessible so I don't have to go across the room to get my towel. That's all I need. Of course, no working toilet. That's all I need. What is it about the Grand Floridian bathrooms now that you're hoping they change into? Like when you look at a Grand Floridian bathroom now and you're like, oh, I really hope Disney does this. What do you want them to do? I have no idea where to even go with that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know with the current setup how much they're going to be going in to change it. I actually like the getting ready space because it has right now the way it is. They have a separated like door with the toilet and the bathtub
and those are nice
/ shower, which is nice because somebody can get ready.
Because in the All Stars we have curtains, just so you know.
Yeah, no. So there's the double sink and there is plenty of counter space. I would like them to add some shelves under the counter space. That I feel like is lacking because right now, like you've got your makeup, you have to like just throw it in the corner and it's everywhere. I love that they have a little hamper for wet towels. I think that's fantastic.
That's cool.
It's very cool. But then the other thing is like once you're in the bathroom, like where the toilet and the shower is, it's a little cramped and you can just kind of see where like the grouting needs to be redone and it just needs to be freshened up. It needs to be touched up.
Look better too.
Exactly. Gotcha. I mean, I don't know if it's a situation where maybe they could go to more of like a stall shower, which is what they've done in a lot of the villa areas, or if they need to keep the, tub combo for like, kiddos baths or whatever.
Yeah.
But it just needs to be refreshed in a little bit more like shelving storage space would be very nice.
Well, I think they definitely need to keep the tub combo for a lot of them because I know a lot of families, like we were actually going to be, for November, this past November, as we were planning early last year, when we ended up staying at Saratoga, we had actually booked Coronado Springs. Coronado Springs, the tower, the Casino Tower.
Oh yeah, BLT.
And we were excited about that, but after we stayed,
not
there,
BLT, Grand Casino, GDG.
Grand Casino, yeah. So after we stayed there, we realized, okay, so Stephanie and sister, my brother-in-law and sister-in-law, they have three small children. they can't stay there because they have to have a tub. They have to have a tub to bathe their kids. And like
Sure.
the Dino Tower, the rooms we were in, at least the category we were in, had just the shower stalls.
Yes.
With just the glass walls, by the way, which I do not like because it is that weird thing of like, hey, I'm showering behind one sheet of transparent glass. There's somebody else, typically my wife, getting ready. And I'm just like, I don't know. It's weird. I like I'm getting ready and there's somebody shower. It's weird. I mean, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's strange. Married couples are married couples, but at the same time, like, that's my shower. Just don't. Whatever.
I know.
It's just a weird thing.
Hey, listen,
So-
Agent Kyla and I shared a room in Mexico that had just the clear, like, and it was just like a
Right.
curtain, and we were like, so I'll just go on the porch. We're good.
Do your thing and just, you know, you got it. I got it.
Yeah.
Because so this is actually, I wrote this down and I actually added the Grand Floridian at the top of the list just because I ran out of space in my paper here. This is probably the main topic. This is the big thing. So Universal released their mask mandate and they said they're lifting masks. They're lifting it. And we were all just like, hallelujah. I mean, it was wonderful. They're dropping the mask mandate and whatever. Now, do you know if Universal is requiring them on their water taxis and buses, or they just say?
I have not read one way or another.
Okay.
So I mean, it is.
I honestly can't tell you.
The rule is,
yeah.
you know, the I think the official wording is fully vaccinated guests are welcome to make masks optional,
Right.
indoors, outdoors, wherever. They have
They're
not
asking you to mask
specified.
up.
The other thing, though, is Universal doesn't really use buses as much.
Right.
I'm not going to
That's
say that
very
there
true.
are none. It's usually
That's very
water
true.
taxis, which are open,
Or you just walk to the park.
or
which
you
is
just
right there,
walk.
which is
You know,
nice.
just depending on the only time I think you're on a shuttle is if you're going to Volcano Bay from some of the ones that, you know, because that's not right on
Right.
the water.
Right.
So-
Or well,
Cabana Bay.
Endless Summer is going to need the shuttles because they're
Endless summer.
they're
Right.
basically in like Miami to get to the Universal.
Yeah, I was gonna
they're
say.
way out there. But no, I don't know
Cabana
about
Bay
that.
too doesn't have a water taxi.
It doesn't. It does not. But you can walk to the water taxi because I believe the water taxi is at the there's the
Sapphire
not in
Falls?
Ventura, the Sapphire Falls.
Sapphire Falls, yeah.
The water, the river starts there, and so you walk over
Right.
there, whatever. But we were all wondering, Disney World. Where's Disney World? Where's Disney
Right.
World? Where's Disney World? We're all biting our tongues and just please Disney World.
Yeah.
Come on. And of course, my wife Stephanie's like, you think about March? I'm like, I don't think it's still going to be a place in March, but at the same time, it wouldn't shock
Like,
me
but
if
we
it
don't
was.
know.
I don't know.
Right.
And yesterday, out of nowhere, Disney's like, okay, the 17th, no
Yep.
more masks,
Woo!
and it's exciting, which is exciting too, because now the coronavirus can look at the 17th and go, okay, guys, we got 2 more days to really get our stuff done, and then we got to get out, or you know, I don't know, 2 more days to figure out what to do, and then the 17th is I don't know, but anyway, it's just so weird how they say on the 17th, whatever. Maybe that's just
I
for
know,
signage,
it's
signage
interesting.
purposes. I don't know.
Well, they would have to
But-
change that and like probably go through some protocols. And it's the same thing though on Disney transportation. They do specify
Yes, they
if
do.
you are on transportation, so monorail, bus,
Yep.
Skyliner.
Now, I don't know how official it is in terms of Disney. I do know that the national mandate for transportation, which are official buses, school buses, airplanes, March 18th is when that expires because the president had signed that through March 18th.
Which we don't, which of course it could be extended, but as of right now, still plan, you need your mask for public transit.
Yeah. So again, Disney's a private company, so I'm not sure if that counts as public transportation, but I'm assuming they're holding to that.
They're going to hold to that basically.
If it's not extended, I'm wondering if Disney will lift that as well and say, you know what, no more masks at all for, again, vaccinated guests, optional, blah, 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 the fine print there.
But
yes,
I would still say it's always smart to pack them.
do that. Because I reached out to a client.
Keep them, you know, just in case, because like they'd gotten rid of them last summer, remember? And then it was like, oh, just kidding. In 2 days, we're going to put it back in place. So it's good to just maybe have like a pack of those paper ones that you can snag if you need, or also some Ubers, like Uber and Lyft, if you're doing that. Some drivers don't care, but some drivers do care. So
when I get into an Uber, I will tell the drivers quite simply, if you'd like to take your mask off, I have no problem with that. I will take mine off as well. If you want to keep it on, I'll keep mine on. And I've had some drivers that will take it off and say, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Let me take it off. You know, I don't care. I'm fine. And I'll have other drivers that will say, you know, I'd rather keep it on, please. And I'm like, that's absolutely fine. I want to follow your wishes, but I don't want you to think you have to have it on for my sake because I don't care. Honestly, listeners, I don't. You can at me if you want. I don't. I really don't. So we're excited about that. There's free breathing coming, which is great. And there are a few people that are upset about it. And I'm going to go back to what was said when the masks were put in place. If you don't feel comfortable with the policies, then you can go at a later time. And that's all I will say about that. You can read between all the lines you want to read between. You can read between all the lines for Seven Dwarfs Mine Train.
And you are free
and the
to
long lines
continue
of Parks.
wearing it.
Absolutely.
That's the other thing is you are allowed to continue.
And I did reach out to a client yesterday, and I let them know, hey, you're leaving in a couple of days. The mask mandate has been lifted. And she was like, well, I'm in the store right now. I just put some masks in my cart. I'll put them back. I'm like, you don't have to do that because you still have to have them for transportation. I said, you still have to do that. And a client reached out to me today and said, hey, I don't think my grandparents are going to go because the masks. I'm like, well, guess what? So,
Yeah, but like, again, and then but there also means, like, if you wanted to wear an N95 or whatever, the vented mask, they're not going to have, they're not saying you can't do that.
Right. It's just it's been lifted, which is really exciting. Yeah. Popcorn buckets. Now, the popcorn buckets, of course, were going for hundreds and hundreds of dollars on eBay because they came, they went, they were sold out, they were done. Right. So they were brought back, and I don't know if you saw the pictures. There are these massive tables full of popcorn buckets. You know, you can mobile order. So when you go into mobile order, you just pick up a popcorn bucket, you know, whatever. Or I've heard people just walking and being able to get one. Of course, they sold out immediately again. But if you go on eBay, they're no longer selling for $400 and $500. Now they're like $100 because now there are more and more of them out there, which I'm hoping is I'm hoping that they have so many of them out there that you can go to the outlet stores and get them for like $10 in 2 months because everybody that got the one got one. I want Disney to flood the market with these and just make way too many, just so all these guys who bought like 10 of them can't sell them. That's my goal. Crazy. You know, it's and you know what? So I understand trying to make a business on that. You want to sell some merchandise, whatever, and I get it. But I kind of feel like if you're going to sell popcorn buckets, buy them after they've been out for a little while, buy a bunch of them, and then wait a year when they're all gone, there's not coming back, then sell them or whatever.
Then put it on, right?
Then put it on, whatever. So, because I'm looking now, there's the Steamboat Willie popcorn bucket I would love to have, or the Skyliner popcorn bucket, which are now no longer available. And now they're like $30, and I'm tempted to pay $30 for one because I didn't get one, and I'm cool with that seller charging $30. Yeah, I would not pay $150 for it because I feel like there are people like me who wanted one who will never get one because the seller. So. That's all I got to say about that. So, Splash Mountain over the Magic Kingdom has been refurbed, and of course, it's open now. You go into Splash Mountain, and apparently there are things that are still not fixed. Some of the animatronics are still not moving. Some of the paint's still not there. So, Jen, I have to ask you, since you probably know, when is the refurbishment for Princess and the Frog coming? I'm sure you talked to the Bob at some point. And one of the Bobs is probably like, I have no idea. I'm not there anymore.
I was going to say, does Bob even know?
Maybe the Josh. Maybe you talked to Josh. And, you know, I'm sure they've called you and told you. Are you allowed to say when the refurb is coming?
Well, you know, in all of my conversations with the Bob, I do promise to keep everything confidential. So
yes, okay,
yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
But I mean, if I were gonna have a gut guess, because honestly, my imaginary conversation with the Bob,
of course,
when something like this, hey, can we fix? No, okay.
Which is probably a much nicer imaginary conversation than a lot of people have had with the Bob.
Possibly,
just saying. Yeah.
Possibly. I honestly don't know that they're going to take that ride down until after the 50th celebration is over. And I have said that from the beginning.
Right. Yeah.
That, and now again, this is no official information. This is not a rumor. This is Jen's gut says, I don't think they're pulling it down during the 50th. Yeah. Now the 50th is technically a 18-month celebration. You know, they're going to do it for over a year. Could I potentially see it after maybe like Tron comes up or, you know, some of those other things and the railroad's back?
Right.
You know, I could see that happening more likely. Like, so at least though, I'm going to say they're going to wait until after October. And in general, I would think they're going to try to get through the next holiday season. Okay. Just when you have so many crowds. And I don't know how long it's going to take. I mean, honestly, if they keep the existing ride track, it's a matter of swapping out animatronics, retheming. Right. I don't know how many months that takes. I mean, because I'm not an Imagineer. But
yeah, my thought is that they're fixing the things that have to be fixed.
Right.
They're leaving the things that still are presentable, but they don't want to spend the money on.
Right.
Here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that they want to get, of course, Guardians is opening this summer.
Right.
I think two other things. They want to get Tron open.
Yes.
And they want to get all the shows and everything back. Because right now, Splash Mountain is a people eater. And there are a ton of people that can go on at the same time. And they need that space. They need people to go somewhere because the parks are full. I mean, the parks, this is February.
Y'all who are like, because of COVID, aren't they empty? No, sorry, you missed
No. Because of COVID, everybody's going.
Everybody's
because
going.
they're like, I'm tired of my house. I'm tired of my town. I've been here for 2 years. I want to go somewhere. Take my money, Disney. And that's why Disney's like, okay, well, here's the higher price. And people are like, okay. We don't care.
Yes.
They might care next year, but right now they don't. And I cannot imagine, like, we're going spring break. and I don't want to say this lightly. I want to say that I am, with the challenges we have with our kid, with Campbell, I am very blessed that we have the DAS Pass to get through a lot of these rides. Without the DAS Pass, we would be very miserable at springtime.
Sure.
Although we wouldn't, it kind of is a circle. We wouldn't go at springtime because we're going down there for a doctor's appointment, blah, 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 related to his autism. And so it kind of works all together. I think they want to get the shows and everything open to the Hoop-de-Doo, whatever shows they have coming back, and they want to get those open as well because they want to have places for people to go. So my gut is telling me that even though the 50th ends next March, when they close it for refurbishment every January, and they close it every January, that is when they close it for good.
No, I could see that, which is why I think
Yep.
they're going to get through the holiday season, Christmas, New Year's, and then, like you said, it always goes down in January. That has been a standing refurb for years because traditionally January is lighter crowd wise. So I do think that possibly that would be when it goes down, but I don't know that it's going to happen before some of these other things open.
Funny thing, I think here's my prediction. I think they're going to close it on January 23rd of 2022.
Any specific reason?
No, 2023. The reason I say that is because it's Disney. Even though they're closing it for racial insensitivity of the story, they're going to go all out with the merchandise for Splash Mountain to make sure that everybody knows they get pins and shirts last ride on Splash Mountain through the holiday. Get through the marathon, get through Martin Luther King weekend, the busy weekends, and then the last ride will be like the last weekend, like 21st, 22nd. I think MLK is the 16th. If it's the 23rd, then I'm going to go with whatever weekends after MLK. They're going to say that because they want to push the traffic to that weekend, Splash Mountain, the last ride, blah, 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 last log, whatever, and they close like on a Monday or Tuesday. I'm predicting late January 2023 is when it closes.
That sounds fair.
And no more Splash Mountain. Just because I know Disney and... we're closing this ride because it is insensitive. Here, buy a Splash Mountain T-shirt because.
But people will also buy it because it's history.
But, and the thing is, too, this is not like Maelstrom where nobody went and people were like,
liar.
Okay, so
went.
you went. People did go, but it wasn't this. Nobody cared about Maelstrom until after it was closed. No, you didn't. You did, but nobody talked about Maelstrom until after it was closed. And so people care about Splash Mountain. They people love it. This is a legitimate favorite ride for a lot of people.
It is.
Be it history, because they ride when they were kids. It's their kids' favorite. I know some clients. I have some clients. This is their favorite ride, and they go every January before the refurb because they want to get it in. Every January.
And kids love. Kids love the water ride, and they. Yeah,
and kids don't know anything about the story itself. They don't.
I was
going to
say the kids.
I get that.
They see the rabbits and the cute little animals. And...
This is not defending Song of the South or anything. I don't want to
No,
get into that discussion,
not at all. But
they just like the story, the zippity-doo. They just think it's fun.
Yeah,
it's
kids
like,
just love
rabbit,
the ride.
Whatever. So there's that. So I think late January 2023 is I'm calling it. This January will come. It'll still be open till like May, but I'm calling January. So
I believe the one thing I'm gonna miss, I have to say, is the revival chickens. I love that scene. I love the showboat, and we got the.
It's so great. It reminds me of the showboat's image in the Great Movie Ride, where you do the movie scene.
Exactly.
And there's a showboat, and everybody's doing the tambourine and stuff like that. And I've never seen the movie. Is it Showboat? Is that the movie?
I think it's called. I think it's a music. Yeah, no.
It's a
musical,
not making it up. And I'm hearing the music, dun 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 dun, and there's people in the back, and they're doing the tambourine, they're dancing or whatever.
Back when it worked.
Oh, I love that. I love that montage so much.
That montage was fantastic. But that's what that scene reminds me of.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah,
movie.
exactly. So it's a riverboat, which.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Opinion.
Anyway.
All right. So moving on. Park Pass reservations. Speaking of 2023, Park Pass reservations are now available through 2024. So if you wanted to make sure that you were set up for the Magic Kingdom on January 2nd, 2024, you could absolutely go and do that.
But you couldn't have a room, so I'm not sure how you're going to get a Park Pass reservation.
But as long as you have a ticket, you can set up your Park Pass.
But I'm not sure how you're getting tickets for 2024.
I don't know. I don't know the reasoning behind it. I'm sure somebody will speak up and be like, well, this is why. And
I'm sure there's a reason.
That makes total sense. Right now, I'm like, I don't have a clue why it's so.
I don't know that it's going to sell out right now, so I think we're safe. But
Park Passes are here to stay. And that's one thing that we definitely can glean from that is they are here to stay. They're not going anywhere. Park Passes are here to stay. So
at least for the foreseeable future. How about
now,
that?
I'm crossing my fingers so much that park hopping will drop before 2:00 because we want to park hop. Make it noon. The unfortunate thing is that I know, and you know this, that Tron and Guardians will both be virtual queues. They will have to be
100%. They'll have to be.
And to do that 7 a.m. virtual queue and that 1 or 2 p.m. virtual queue means you can't park hop before then. So I don't know how they reconcile that. I don't know. I don't know.
I do think it's going to have to, something's going to have to be adjusted there.
Or maybe they say you can park up to Animal Kingdom in Hollywood anytime, but Magic Kingdom and Epcot only before 2:00 because of the virtual. I don't know. I don't know. I'm hoping they'll fix this because, Animal Kingdom, a lot of families, I know a lot of families, myself included, who've been a lot, they're done with Animal Kingdom by like 12. We hit the main stuff. That's the one you want to park hop from. Yes, granted, you can make it a full day, and I get that. But our family, we're ready to move on to something else, and we have to wait until 2. It's just, Jen, call the Bob. Fix this. Make it happen. Make it work. Speaking of 2024, looking at 2023, 1 year ago today, packages for 2022 opened up. Now, this was a shock to everybody because previously, packages for the following year came out around June. So around June 1st, we're all just like, when's it going to happen? When's it going to happen? We're looking at previous years.
Right.
June 18th. The year before was June 12th. The year before that was June 24th. And then, if I'm not mistaken, and you can correct me, wasn't this kind of like we had a day or two notice out of nowhere? It was like, what do you mean packages?
No, literally, because we'd been talking and I'm like, well, guys, you're just going to have to tell your clients, like, it typically is June. I mean, maybe it'll be earlier. And I think it was like the next day. I was like, okay. I mean, in 2 days, it's going to open. Fabulous.
Yep. Because because I usually make memes and stuff that'll say, packages open in 1, and I don't have those memes. Like, I don't have them. So I think it was just maybe even like the day prior going,
I think it was just like real quick.
You're reaching out to everybody going, hey guys, I think 2022 is opening tomorrow. I don't know for sure, but I think that's happening. And we're like, what? And you're like, I don't know. The rumors online and the rumors going on. Have you noticed these rumors? And I'm like, yeah, I've seen the rumors, but
and then suddenly it was like, oh wait, no, here is the official. Holy crap! Okay.
So Jen, tell us officially, when's 2023 opening up? Do you know for sure? Can you tell us officially?
I cannot, unfortunately.
Oh, okay. Well,
I wish I knew.
So to somebody who obviously you can't do 2023 yet.
No.
But for somebody who is looking at October trip or November trip, why would they do that now? Why would they book now?
I mean, October honestly is typically very popular. I have to say October is popular because of the the Not So Scary Halloween party. Of course, this year was the Boo Bash, but you know what I mean? Because you have the Halloween party and the theming and people really, really love it. Also, people just like to get their plans set. People are still sort of the mindset that you have to plan in advance for Disney, and you do for availability at your preferred resort, especially if you want something like the Polynesian, which was just refurbished. It's really hard to get availability there. Even Wilderness Lodge, things of that nature. There are certain ones that are easier to get them out.
Grand Floridian will disappear, especially when Disney kind of has an ending date to the refurbishment. That will disappear.
That will disappear, exactly. Yeah. And it's hard.
Yeah, there's two parts to that. And you're right when you said that because people are like, well, I don't know if I can plan that far in advance, or why do I have to plan that far in advance? Two part of that. One, book your room. It's $200 deposit. It's fully refundable until a month before. You can just cancel it. You can move it. If October rolls around, or if August rolls around, you're like, we can't go this October. Move it to 2023 because it'll be out by then. Yeah, that's fine. Or you know what? We want to go cheaper. We'll move it from Grand Floridian to All Stars, or move it from All Stars to Grand Floridian. Why not? We'll do something. Get the room. You've got a room. The planning, like I'll tell a lot of my clients, a lot of my families, I'm like, everything's set. Let's get our park pass reservations. We're good. You're done. Your trip's not for 8 months. We won't have to do anything for like 6 months. Right. We'll talk about dining in early September because so much is going to change. Yep. There will be things that will change. By the summer, things will open up. Things you're going to want. And so so while on one hand it is horrible planning, you got to get it done this far in advance. On the other hand, you don't have to make these last minute decisions. Exactly. We can get it set and then just kind of sit back and just answer questions all along. And if you don't hear from me for a month or two, don't worry. I haven't forgotten you. We don't have anything to talk about.
There's just nothing. And we try to send out like little things, especially, I mean, if you're booked like 9 to 12 months in advance, you're probably going to hear from us at least once a month. Right. But if you're booking like a year and a half in advance, different story, because there just is only so much we can do.
One of the things I'm going to start doing, and this is why we're awesome at Upon Star Travel, is I'm going to send a postcard out at 101 days in advance of your trip. It's your 101 it's your Dalmatian Day.
That's cute.
To do a checkup, do you have your park reservations? Are we doing Memory Maker? We got months and months and months to look at this. Just any questions, blah blah blah, as we link into it. Now, I will tell you though that when we're planning, and you can attest to this, once that dining hits, it's a whirlwind. And then your balance is due. You pay your balance, and all of a sudden it's like, holy crap, your trip's 4 weeks away.
I mean, literally.
But it's just like, okay, itineraries and what's a whirlwind. But until then, you're okay. So if you want to go in October, and I am looking for Polynesian stuff for people, and it's disappearing. It's disappearing. Cabins are disappearing for certain days. Moderates are disappearing for certain days. It's just it's crazy.
It's crazy.
So, That's crazy. Speaking of crazy, let's talk a little bit about Storyliving by Disney. What in the world is Storyliving? It was announced today that a vibrant new neighborhood infused with special branded magic will be opening up soon. Each community will feature distinctively designed spaces, unique amenities, and Disney's brand of world-renowned service. These master-planned new home communities are intended to inspire residents to foster new friendships, pursue interests, and write the next exciting chapter in their lives. I'm cold reading, by the way, which is why I'm like, blah, blah, blah.
Wow.
This is basically, it's new communities will be around the area.
I mean, that's cool.
Where will the first one be? None other than a place that has known the footsteps of Walt Disney himself, Cotino, a Storyliving by Disney community built in the heart of Coachella Valley in Rancho Mirage, California. So they will be all over. This is not just this is not a celebration thing. This is not like we're building a town outside Disney World. This is a communities all over. Now, I don't know a ton about this, but this seems intriguing. So,
very
Jen,
intriguing.
If you ever decide you want to move to Kissimmee, they may have a storytelling by Disney place. Basically, it's Disney-themed communities, which is fascinating to me.
It is. It kind of like the dream for Epcot, which was to have people live in initially.
Right.
So I'll just be interested to see where this goes.
Yeah, this should be.
Yeah.
Be interesting. So, I mean, if that $1 million check you were going to write for Golden Oak, Jen, you can put towards this, which is great.
Fantastic. So, I'll get right on that.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to say about that other than just okay, that's cool. On your app, this is exciting. I think this is incredibly exciting. You can now do cast compliments on your app.
Yes, I'm
which
so glad.
is so cool. Now, for those who don't know,
nice.
Cast Compliment was originally a way that you could either email or tweet or Facebook or whatever, and you would hashtag Cast Compliment to say, John at Splash Mountain was incredible with our family. We had so much fun. Or Ginger at Liberty Tavern was
really
the most
went above and
incredible server
beyond.
ever.
Whatever.
Or so-and-so Francisco at Disney Springs at the Boathouse went above and beyond and blah blah blah. And a lot of times, they would Disney would actually show pictures. They would.
They would like have a little certificate,
and it was the coolest thing. Like I know the
it.
cast members who've gotten them, and they were just like, "This is the coolest thing ever."
Yeah.
Well, now you can go on your app, and you can put a little pancake in the corner, little pancake and everything. Click on that, scroll down. It'll say Cast Compliment. It's a little form you fill out, and it just there's a whole bunch of options there you can choose from. If you wanted to say they went above and beyond, or they provide great service or whatever, a whole bunch of things you can do. You have the option of putting their name or whatever.
Yeah.
And I heard this on another podcast. I think this is a great idea. That a lot of cast members, sometimes the name tag they're wearing isn't their actual name because maybe they forgot their name tag, or they have to grab one. You're not allowed to have two people in the same area with the same name.
Same name.
So if John shows up to work and there's already a John on the floor at Mouse Gears 2.0, he might have to grab one that says Billy, because there can't be two Johns. And so he'll grab one. Maybe that's not his name. His name is John, but he can't be John. Two Johns on the floor.
Right.
So if there's somebody, I recommend it, if there's somebody that you're like, this cast member is fantastic, ask them their name. Say, is your name really Billy? Just so we know. I'm clear. I want to do a cast compliment. And they'll say, well, actually, my name is John. Just so you know, that's great. And give them a cast compliment. I mean, like this is the cast members. Let the cast members know that you did a great job. This is such an important thing. And the fact that it's on the app, before the tweeting and stuff was going to I think you had to at WDW today, something.
You had to,
whatever.
you had to it was a little harder.
On that. With this goes directly to Disney. They see it. They will see this, which is so cool. And I love this. I think this is great.
I think it's fantastic.
So very cool. So make sure you're giving your cast compliments. Over at Disneyland, Soarin' Over California is returning with their Flower and Garden, their festival thing for a limited time.
That's
Starting
okay.
March 4th,
I'll
you
take
can see Soarin' Over
it.
California, and I love Soarin' Over California so much because there is no Bindi Mojave Desert, there is no Bindi Napa Valley, there is no Bindi Eiffel Tower. It's all just great, and I love it.
I love the original.
That's amazing. Parking trams are also returning to Disneyland starting on the 23rd, so by the time you hear this, we'll only be a day or two away from the trams returning at Disneyland. So that's awesome. And finally, the Academy Award nominations were released, and of course, 3 of the 5 nominations for Best Animated Feature were Disney. Encanto, Luca, which is the Pixar film, and Raya and the Last Dragon were all nominated, as well as a foreign film called Flea.
Okay.
FLEE, which we'll talk about that in a second, and Mitchell's versus the Machines, and this on Netflix, which I honestly think is a dark horse candidate to win this because I've heard nothing but good things about this.
Interesting.
My thought is Encanto is going to be the lead of these 3 Disney films. I don't think Luca or Raya got the widespread acclaim, or they're both great films, but I don't think they were seeing it with Luca being straight to video or straight to Disney Plus, which is again, I have such strong feelings about what a mistake that is. Raya and the Last Dragon, I feel like doesn't have the staying power that a lot of the other films have.
Yeah.
Encanto, the number one soundtrack of the year. We Don't Talk About Bruno was the number one song on the Billboard.
I was going to
Top
say
100.
that has like blown up.
Which, by the way, that song wasn't even nominated for best song. Like
really?
Another song, the love theme from Encanto or whatever, the slow ballad was nominated for best song, not Bruno. Okay, so Flea, just so you know, Flea is this. I've seen it. It's a foreign film, and I want to say it's out of Denmark, maybe. Could be wrong. Don't. It could be out of Kuwait for all I know, but it's something. It's the film of a man who is gay, but he's in the Middle East and he can't be gay there. So he is fleeing the country and he's trying to get to Denmark, Norway, one of the Nordic countries.
He's trying to get to a different country.
Basically get asylum so he can be safe.
Oh.
The problem is that it's a documentary, so he could not do this with his face because it's too much danger.
So it's literally a documentary,
so
or
they animated the whole thing.
It's an
documentary
animated
on his journey to flee from one
like
country to safety.
True story.
But they animated this, yes, so that way he would be safe because they couldn't show his face. It's a beautiful documentary. It's an adult documentary. It's not for kids.
It's not a kiddo, right?
A lot of adult themes in this. There's some violence, a lot of threats.
Okay.
But it is a beautiful story. It's a heartwarming story. It really is. I mean, like it's on Hulu right now. It's called Flea, FLE. You can watch it. You can watch it with subtitles, or they have an English dub version. So you actually, because it's animated here in English, which I did that. It's great.
That's like a very just interesting, like to do a documentary, but rather than like blurring a face, making an anime. I don't think is that the first time they've ever animated?
No, it's done before. And as a departure, I will tell you that my favorite. Okay, so I have two favorite documentaries of all time, and one is called Paradise Lost, and it's a true crime documentary. Won't get into that. The other one is called Tower, and this is and you're a bit younger than I am. Not by many years, by 15 years. But you are.
Not quite.
So I don't know if you know this story. This is one of those stories that I knew as a kid, but only because it was on the last vestiges of being a known story before it kind of slipped to history. There are stories that you kind of knew as a child, but you don't hear about it anymore. But kids nowadays like Agent Kyla and Heather would know this. So in the 60s, I want to say 67, there was this is great for the kids. There was a gunman who went to the tower of the University of Texas, like tall tower, and opened fire on people. There's a whole story there about behind who he was or whatever. So Tower tells a documentary of this, and it doesn't concentrate on the guy up in the tower. It concentrates on the survivors of that day of the survivors. They ran out of money to do the reenactments. They didn't have the reenactments. They couldn't do it, so they animated it. Okay?
Huh.
It's incredible.
Interesting.
It is incredible. Even though I know the story, I know what's happening, I'm still like watching going, oh my gosh. Does he live? What's going to happen?
Meanwhile, you know the story, but that's
such
good
incredible
storytelling.
And there's actually a scene towards the end where they reunite two people who had not seen each other since that day in 67. They're old men now, and they actually helped each other out that day. They reunite, and they're both in tears. They're sitting on the porch together, both talking about the day, and they're both just crying. And this is like 50 years later. So that was done in documentary style. It's my second favorite documentary.
Oh, that's cool.
It is so beautiful. But yes, Flea is a documentary done.
Interesting.
Back to the other nominations, I honestly think that Encanto is going to win this because I think it's taken over popular culture. And everything.
Yeah, pop culture thing, yeah.
But this is not the slam dunk like Frozen 2 had, or not the slam dunk that like Moana had. This is something that do not be shocked if Flea or Mitchell's gets this. Flea is also nominated for Best Documentary, and I think that will win Best Documentary. I think that will be the award it gets. So I'm guessing Encanto
versus
is
the Best Animated Feature. Anyway, gotcha. Cool.
Documentary talk, hot doc talk here.
Oh, look at that.
There you go. So that's all of our news. My gosh, that's a lot of news.
That was a lot of
to
news.
end the show, we want to talk a little bit about happy places. And the reason I bring this up is because I saw something on Twitter that just made me think, I want to talk about that. It was a gentleman sitting in front of the water back when the water was. Now, is the water jumping now at Epcot again? Do we know if that's back or not?
I want to say, so I'm 99% sure yes. It wasn't for a while, but I believe
outside of the Imagination Pavilion, there's this little platforms where water shoots out of one into the other. It's like dancing water. Just
dancing water is so cool.
Now, this happens at Splash Mountain as well. And I'm guessing this is going to be this technology plus 1,000 times more is going to be at the Moana attraction.
Oh, I'm sure.
Water's dancing everywhere. What I want is that the Universal attraction has, where they have the water, like the water tunnel. You walk through it.
Yes.
The only good part about that attraction is that water tunnel, which is so cool.
I love that.
But the tweet was like, "This is my happy place," and it was sitting there on the pavilion watching the waters dance, and I was like, "Yes, that is awesome." And I have happy places too. So what I want to ask you, and we're going to go through each park, and maybe even
Okay.
Disney Springs, and maybe Disney as a whole. Those places at Disney World, when you walk in, yes, we walk into the Magic Kingdom, or like into the train station, into the Times Square, and you're like, oh, this is great. But where is that happy place that you get to, be it your first, usually it's on your first day, or that first hour, or whatever, or that ride that you're on that makes you just go, I'm here. I'm here. And this is just, this is so great. I'm so happy to be here for me. For me, and I'll say this right off the bat, it is first thing in the morning at Magic Kingdom. Obviously, we've done the, we've gone through Town Square, walking down Main Street and stuff. It is, if we don't have a ride to go to immediately, with maybe we have Genie Plus set up, maybe we have the DAS Pass set up for our family, it's stopping at a Joffrey's, getting some coffee, or maybe Starbucks or whatever, and going to that side little alcove there on Main Street, right off to the side there between the two shops and stuff. There's like some tables and stuff, kind of a hidden little place. Sitting there off to the side, watching the hustle and bustle of Main Street. If you stick your head out, you can see the castle, but otherwise you're relaxing in a chair, watching everybody on Main Street, watching the pictures being taken. You sit there long enough, a cavalcade sometimes will come through for the first few minutes, or like at 9 o'clock you'll hear the dancers atmosphere come through. I'm happy. I'm like, this is phenomenal. I'm so, whether I'm with the agents and my people, whether I'm with my family and my kid's happy. Of course, my kid's like, 7 doors my train. 7 doors my train. Barnstormer. Just, I'm happy. That's my first happy place in Magic Kingdom. Jen, your first happy place at Magic Kingdom. What are you thinking?
Oh gosh. So for me, it is always in Tomorrowland. It is either on the People Mover, which if I'm gonna, because there's just like, I'm on the People Mover, I'm just watching the people.
Yep.
I'm going past everything. I'm checking on Tron, seeing how that's going.
Of course.
I back in the day when they would let you, I'd just be like, again, just like let me keep going around. I love that. And then secondarily, there's a little bench near Space Mountain, but also near People Mover, and it's in the shade. Love to grab a Joffrey's. Exactly. Grab my Joffrey's.
Of course.
Just sit there and people watch. I love the Tomorrowland loop. So that is like my, I'm here.
Yeah, it's nice. We're kind of the same too in Fantasyland, because there's a couple of rock walls that we love sitting on. First is outside of Pooh. Oh yeah. Second is outside of Barnstormer and Dumbo in that area there. If you can get there and find space on it, a lot of times it's in the shade. Yeah, and that is and you're gonna notice that a lot of my happy places involve snacking, because that's just me. Fine. But that is a great place to grab a churro, to grab some popcorn, grab a pretzel, and just sit. And it's a lot of times it's open enough where our kid especially can run around a little bit. We can still keep tabs on him. If he gets a little far, we call him back or whatever. But it's open enough that I can go grab him if I have to. So he has a place to kind of be around a little bit, but we can just kind of sit there. And like, Stephanie is a massive fan of the popcorn. She loves Disney popcorn. You get to that popcorn. She doesn't care about the buckets. She doesn't even want the buckets. We have 3 or 4.
She just wants the popcorn.
What do we do with this crap? They're just in our cabinet. I'm like, we'll put them out here. She's like, no, we're not, because we don't have the shelf space for it. But like when she gets up to the kiosk and they're popping, the popcorn's popping, it's going, and she sees him dip out of that, and she's like honestly, you got to find somebody that looks at you the way my wife looks at freshly popped popcorn at Disney World. And I don't think she looks at me like that, because she loves, and we'll sit there on the wall, and she's just like, would you like some? And I'm like, I would like, no, okay, good. And she'll just keep, she loves, and like for me, it's like a funnel cake. Just eating and just enjoying, like those rock walls are fantastic. And so, anything else in Magic Kingdom that comes to mind?
There's one other, and your Sleepy Hollow refreshments. Because if I'm going to get a snack, I'm going to get a Nutella waffle. I'm going to sit in that little, back area. You can see the cavalcade come across the bridge from time to time. Oh yeah, that's a great little spot.
Not when we're there, when we're all there in October for the 50th, we all go to Magic Kingdom, because I'm guessing we'll have time to go to Magic Kingdom at some point.
Of course.
I'll make it a point. Stephanie's complaint on that is always, I love this, but it's just too much. But I eat it, I get it, I love it, but it's just too much. You guys could split one.
Ooh,
and I think
yes.
you both would be happy, because that way you're not thinking, oh, this is too much. You'd be like, I'm gonna get a half.
Perfect.
Jen's gonna half, and I'll look over. Hey, can I have a bite? No, you can't. This is Jen and
no, I'm sorry. If Stephanie are splitting a waffle,
why don't you take our bands and go get us a? Used to be like, go get us a fast pass for whatever. So, not anymore, but,
I used to do that to bring.
Exactly. Go away. I'm eating and blah blah blah. So yeah. And again, I love Sleepy Hollow too. And I love that little seating area.
Oh,
if you
it's
can find
so
a table,
nice.
it is finding a table, but finding a
It
table.
is.
And of course, it's too easy to say the hub on Main Street. It really is.
No, that's honestly too
parades and
busy
stuff.
for me.
It's too busy. But another happy place too. And if I'm watching the parade, my favorite parade spot is honestly, if you walk out of the Emporium on the corner there of Town Square, the fire station is to your right, Main Street is to your left. A lot of times, and it's roped off, a lot of times you'll walk right into that. There's space.
Absolutely.
You can just walk right on up because nobody wants to see it there. Now, granted, this is the end of the parade route. So if the parade starts at 3:15, you ain't seeing the parade till like 3:40. But hold your spot. And they'll have ropes. They'll have it all taped off and everything, and you'll see the parade as it's going around Town Square. You'll see them up close. It's going into the backstage area or whatever. Love that spot. That's also a happy place for me because I'm there. I'm happy. I'm just there. So let's move over to Epcot. I think one of my happy places, and this is one of my new happy places because Agent Kyla, and I keep going back to Agent Kyla because when we were there on the 50th, she introduced all of us to this. I didn't know it. Maybe our other people did. Maybe the other Pixies we were with did, but I didn't know this. If you go to the Japan Pavilion, first of all, get your icy, which is that little kiosk there in the front.
Oh,
Get your iced milk. It's so good. I'm not even going to try to say the name of it, but get the rainbow. I love it. Take it. Walk up the steps off to the left there. There is a wooded area with bathrooms and picnic benches. I didn't even know that was there. And when we went up there, the water is kind of trickling down. It's you can still see what's going on in the parks, but it's kind of shaded enough that you have to really look to say, okay, I have to see everything. It's fantastic up there.
It's great.
And I cannot wait to take my family there because, again, Campbell's going to be able to run around a little bit. We go to the bathrooms right there. There's a family restroom right there. Love that little spot. That's a great place. That's a happy place right there for me. That's a great space.
That is absolutely a great spot. I love that one. Epcot. Okay, so first my bone to pick. They took away my happy place.
Oh no.
In Epcot. It is all under construction right now. I have a very vivid memory actually, and I probably have a video somewhere. And this was back before I was full-time in travel. At that point, I was still teaching during the day. And I took a personal day. We did a long weekend, and it was just like our first stop was Epcot. That was our first day.
Right.
And I would just walk and I would go past Spaceship Earth, and on the right, little alcove, like not quite when you're going back for Soarin'. So you had to like go through Interventions. This is still when they're at Interventions, and they had all the, like the little, not tarpies, but the little, the triangle things that were shading up there. And there was a little spot to lean, and it was near where there was like light up cement, and it was daytime, but I could just sit there, and it wasn't in the main hustle bustle, but you could see it all happening, and you could see the pin trader, and you could see the fountain.
Yes.
And hear the music. And I just remember being like, I'm here, I'm good. Like, I am happy. I did like a live, like this is my favorite place. And so that is of course all under construction right now. But secondarily, I love the Land Pavilion. That has always been a happy place for me. Just kind of like walking in and sitting wherever. I love Sunshine Seasons. I love that whole area. I love living with the land. I mean,
well, it's funny that you mentioned that because I was thinking about it because I keep reverting back to places to sit and eat. But one place that I don't mind standing, that I feel like one attraction that I'm like, I'm here and I'm at Disney World and this is awesome. In the queue for Soarin'. Like not just the ramps where you see the big video screens, but get to the hallway where it's hard tile, and then you got lights going down. At the very end of the hall, you see the big Soarin' sign with you see the cast member, and you see her pointing this way and that way, telling people where to go. Yeah, it hits me, and I'm like, I'm at Disney. Yeah, I'm at Epcot, and I'm happy. I'm so happy to be here right now. And if I'm by myself, I look at the next person. I'm like, I don't know you, but I'm happy I'm here with you. It's I don't do that because that's creepy, but I might. Right. And so it's so just great. Is there? I know you said the land, but is there an attraction? Because Spaceship Earth is like that for me too. On the actual attraction.
Oh, I share the Spaceship Earth as well. Also, So aside from like living with the land, like that whole pavilion, definitely Spaceship Earth. I mean,
I can start hitting those buttons to tell Epcot where you're from, what you're most interested in, work and leisure, whatever. Take a picture. Look up, take the picture, and it all goes back to.
Then I have to thank my Phoenicians. Like as I'm going through, I always make sure to do that.
Of course you do. Of course you do. That's our show. Show. So, which by the way, sidebar. Yeah. Jen, if we ever decided we wanted to do T-shirts for our podcast, there was a guy that has helped us out at the Deuce Cast Movie Show. and he could make us a shirt that says "Thank the Phoenicians."
I mean, I
with our logo.
think we should do that.
I think we should do that. Now, I would need to know that people were interested in it. I mean, I wouldn't want to set up a small little shop and be like, one person buy a shirt for $15, but I would fantastically wear a shirt that says Main Street Electrical Podcast, Thank the Phoenicians.
100%.
Let's talk about that. So
We should figure that out.
let's move over to Hollywood. I love Toy Story Land.
Mm.
I do, and I know it gets the reps for not having the shade, and I get that.
Yeah.
But Toy Story Land is frequently one of our first stops when we get in the parks. Like typically, again, this goes back to our kid because a lot of my trips revolve around my family, as it should. It revolves around catering to our 10-year-old autistic child, which as it should. Slinky Dog is his favorite ride overall. So part of my joy is getting to watch him get excited for Slinky Dog because when he knows it's coming, he is just like there is something for people who aren't familiar. There's something called stimming, and like when stimming, it's basically a lot of times it's moving your head, flapping your arms, or whatever, and that is, as I've heard it described, that is showing your feelings. Like for us, when we get excited, it's like I'm so excited, I'm happy. We may be like clapping hands, going, "Let's go!" Whatever. Campbell will nod his head and he will flap his arms, and when he does that, you can just tell. He is freaking overjoyed right now. Like he is just, there is so much in him right now. Like
So
I am
sweet.
so freaking happy right now. And that is him. And he will do that getting into Slinky Dog. So walking up, he can see him flapping his arm, flapping his hands, just giggling like, I'm going to ride Slinky Dog, And so for him, that's his happy place. But for me, Toy Story Land is a happy place for me because it's the first thing when we get into the parks. We go straight to Toy Story Land. We do Slinky Dog. Or a lot of times we'll have a Genie Plus pass for Slinky Dog. So we'll do Toy Story Mania first.
Okay.
And just that's I'm here. This makes me happy. Yeah. I'm happy. I'm here at Disney World with my family, with my kid, my wife. Just it's great. Of course, we stop at Joffrey's on the way there because Joffrey's is right
obviously
there. And then go on in. So
obviously,
happy place for you at Hollywood.
Also near a Joffrey's, but it's the other Joffrey's, the one behind Tower of Terror. I love, and it's actually where the exit queue is. Because sometimes if we're not going to wait in line for whatever reason, or we're going to come back later, or if the line, we're like, okay, yeah, no, we're not waiting in that line, even though it's our favorite ride. We just love that back little garden area where there is a Joffrey's, grab a donut, sit down, maybe just go into the shop. And then there's also the shops up and down Sunset Boulevard, but we love that little garden area behind Tower. Yep. So
well, and for me, it's because I'm a Skyliner fan, and you kind of get this some with Epcot, but it drops you off the back gate, so there's a little bit difference here.
Yeah, it's different.
Coming off the Skyliner to Hollywood Studios, you come out of that out of the Skyliner, which I love the Skyliner. Come down the ramp, turn the corner, and you walk in towards Hollywood, and you can see the crossroads of the world. Yeah, there's Mickey on the globe, and it is just a sense of like, this is so great. It's like you get your band ready, your hands are twitching, you're like, I'm ready to scan. Search me, officer, search me. Let's go. Let's get in. It's love it. Absolutely love it. Let's jump over to Epcot, to Animal Kingdom real quick because we can wrap this show up. The wall over at Everest, that little rock wall there, that little rock wall area, right in front of Everest is kind of hard because you have the lines there, but across there's some places to kind of sit and prop, and it's just, you can see the water. I love that area. I love Everest is great and everything. I love that. I love doing that. I love just being right there. So Animal Kingdom.
Yeah. And in Animal Kingdom, we're kind of like you. We tour Animal Kingdom like you do. We're more like, we can do it in the morning. And yes, I know it can be a full day park. Absolutely. Right. We've made it a full day park some days, but it's just, for us, we tend to maybe more do it in the morning or maybe in the evening if it has like later hours or whatever. But for us, we would be over in Pandora. We like some of that area near Navi River Journey. Like they have like those drums, and well, then for a while it was closed off because COVID, but now it's back. So that's yay.
COVID.
Yeah, right. So we do like that area. And then secondarily, I love near Tiffin's, which is on the way, of course, to Pandora. Right. It is just,
I've never been to Tiffin's. We're trying to make that a thing. I want to go because, well, we got a lot of dining set up for our March trip, and we're like, do we want to put Tiffin's in there as well? So, again, I don't know what we're doing for October. I know it's all the Pixies and the agency and a bunch of people going down there together. I don't even know if Animal Kingdom will factor in because it might be too busy. But if somebody says, "Hey, let's go to Tiffin's," I'm not gonna.
No, Tiffin's, and here's the thing: I really enjoy Tiffin's, but they have that little, and I've done this before where I don't have any dining reservations set up because I'm just winging it for whatever reason. Okay, and I will go to that little
enjoy that boat rides over at Port Orleans.
Well, yeah, no, oh my gosh, I can't. Why can't I think of it? Nomad Lounge. There we go.
Yeah.
I'm like sitting here. I'm like lounge. And you can sit, and if it's like nice weather, you can sit. They have great little appetizers. They had these skewers that were fantastic.
Ooh.
I mean, they were like with like peanut sauce on it, which Brady would hate. I was by myself that day. So I got just small plates of like, different hummus and just, like some of the different things. And the weather was literally perfect. I was sitting in the right location where I could see people, but not really see people. And like, you could see the water and the trees, and like, you could kind of see heading into Pandora. You wouldn't even have known you were at Animal Kingdom or at any theme park, quite honestly, unless you just knew. And that was a great little spot.
I love it. Well, and honestly too, coming into Animal Kingdom, as you go over the bridge, there's a Tree of Life and everything. You go over the bridge. Those two shops on the left side and the right side of you as you're going in Animal Kingdom, we love those shops. I can't think.
Oh,
of the
those
name
are great
of them.
shops.
One's like Mercantile.
One's
a Mercantile.
Marketplace Mercantile or Island.
Whatever. Doesn't matter.
Whatever. It's good.
Fantastic, and those identify with Animal Kingdom, much like. And I'm going to jump to the resorts real quick. And I've talked about this before. The BVG Fantasia shop with the monorail going over. My favorite shops. The concourse. That to me is a massive happy place for me because that is such a. If you wanted to say one resort that like exemplifies Disney in one spot, the concourse, the Grand Canyon concourse at Contemporary, that is Disney World.
It is absolutely. That's a great.
Happy.
I love sitting there. I love sitting there.
I do. Just sitting right there, and that's
so much fun.
Great place for Stephanie to be like, I'm gonna sit here, park on a bench. You go do blah blah blah. Go get whatever. I'm gonna go whatever. I love that. Any other resort for you besides Contemporary?
Well, Grand.
Of course.
I mean, you had to know that.
Oh, of course.
Of
course.
Duh.
But I'm like, Pop Century, All Star Music,
No. Yacht Club.
Yacht Club.
I do enjoy the Yacht Club. Aside from that, Wilderness Lodge, I will say I do love the lobby at Wilderness Lodge is so nice.
It's gorgeous.
It's so pretty.
And I'm going to say this. This is going to sound like I'm making a joke, and I'm really not. Because we have worked our way into going to deluxe resorts sometimes.
Yeah, true.
We've just kind of grown and been able to do that in our Disney experiences. A lot of our early Disney experiences were the Pop Century, the All-Stars and stuff.
Sure.
And so to me, there is still something about opening up that All-Star door and seeing those two queen beds and now the refurbished room, seeing the Murphy bed there. Seriously, like walking in, to me, that is such a familiar resort room that makes me very, very happy. And I'm like, I'm here. It's like Magical Express. Unfortunately, it's no longer here. So having that sense of going under the sign, and sometimes you get the great bus driver that'd be like, welcome to Disney World. Everybody's like, that's just, it's just so great having that. So, anything else, happy place at Disney World that just makes you just know that you're there?
Gosh. I mean, I really hit a lot of my big ones. I was thinking while we were talking that there was one other place at Epcot, and now it just like left my mind really quickly where I'm like, wait a second. What? Oh,
well, I will say, I'll throw this one out here while you're thinking. Disney Springs.
Yes.
Not the West Side, but the Marketplace, because the West Side is so new. There's so much of it new. New stores and Splitsville, whatever, in the last 5 or 6 years of blah blah blah. The Marketplace has been there as long as I've been going to Disney. Obviously, it hasn't been there that long, but the co-op, not just that, but the Christmas shop, the World of Disney, the Lego shop, the Pen store, that is so familiar to me, and it's just like. This is just so that gives me the feels because I'm like, this is the downtown Disney that I know. This is the OG downtown Disney.
Well, not even the OG. Bring back some Pleasure Island. And
that's true. That is true. I wasn't a heathen like you, so I couldn't go to Pleasure Island. But but yeah, just that's the old school downtown Disney Springs for me that I just love so much. And of course, our good friend Imagineer McNair does not like because he's like, just stick anything, stick springs on it, and there you go. And so, but final thoughts on happy places that make you happy, just walking in, being a part of.
I mean, all of Disney like has that effect at some level, but I think I really hit my high points.
Guest Relations did not make me happy. I don't like going to Guest Relations.
No, I don't.
Lines are very long, and I'm there for a reason that I don't like. And so,
no, I agree. I mean, I guess I could also throw in a bunch of restaurants because basically I'm eating, and that right there makes me happy.
Yes, yeah,
Cellier.
We'll have to do a top 5 like top 5 benches, like top 5 places to sit.
Again, they took away my favorite bench. So
I know. And you'll just, I part of me does miss Interventions. Like I'm okay with it being gone, but if they're like, you know what, we're bringing back Interventions, I'd be like, okay, do something with it, but okay.
Like one of them, like the one was fine. Like just put everything in there, and cute stuff. And then
There's something just fun about being in that little tornado room where they do the winds really, really
gosh,
high.
I think I only did that like once.
It's like, this was like in a tornado. I'm like, this is a stiff breeze in Alabama. What the heck?
Right, like
what are we doing
literally?
here?
What are you
this?
talking about?
Or, to build your own ride, or the waste management with a big garbage truck. And it's like,
I did like the Sum of All Thrills.
Oh, Sum of All
Thrills
was great.
Yeah.
I think the highest rating you could ever get was like 1260 or something.
Something like that.
There was one thing we designed that got us 40 points from the highest rating you could get.
Oh, nicely done.
Yeah, and like because everybody goes for speed. Everybody's like, I want to get the fastest car available, and it wasn't about speed. It was about inversions.
The inversions and
and
the
it was
Gs.
about ride track and G's and everything. So yeah, we did something with like 6 inversions, and it didn't go fast, but it was like it was crazy.
Nice.
So I do miss that. So
yeah, that was good.
So, yeah. So Jen, people can find happiness on the internet by following your feed because you got a lot of good stuff up there, socials and Instagram, stuff like that. Where can we find you?
Well, at Upon a Star Jen, and my personal Instagram at Jen_Novotny. Of course, always the best when I'm traveling. So coming up here in a couple weeks, I will be traveling to a galaxy far, far away.
Speaking of, there's a guy online. His name is Scott Gustin, Gustin.
Oh, yes.
And I don't know what part of Disney he plays. I don't know if he's just a big super fan or part of. I have no idea. He's awesome. Follow him.
I
He's always
follow
got
him
great
on
news.
Twitter.
And I follow his news, and I take what he says like seriously. Like if he says something, I'm like, I need to go find this because I think he's onto something.
Right.
He has made the point where, yes, the starship travel between Starcruiser and Hollywood. Of course, it's going to be in a big white bus, big white van, shuttle, whatever. You do have to wear a mask for that, but you don't have to wear a mask in the Starcruiser because, folks, it's not really going anywhere.
That's correct.
He made that point because, of course, in the FAQs when the Starcruiser came out, somebody actually, or there was a FAQ about, does this actually go to space? And Disney's response was like, no, this doesn't actually go to space. It's an imaginary experience of magic. So don't feel like when you're on the Starcruiser, like Jen's going to be in the hotel, you don't have to wear a mask because it's not going to be in space. Same thing as Space 220. You don't have to wear a mask in the quote-unquote elevator because you're not really going into space. I just want to say that.
It's okay.
Just okay. Just FYI. Okay. You're not actually going anywhere. I hate to ruin the magic for you, but yeah. So find me online at The Magic on a Dollar on Instagram. Find me on Facebook, Magic on a Dollar, Disney on a Dollar, and of course, email us all at themsepodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to know your happy places as well. Of course, find us on Twitter at The MSE Podcast. Find us on Instagram, The MSE Podcast, and of course, Facebook with the same thing. Guys, we'd love to hear from you as well. So yeah, that's our show. Jen, go have a great afternoon. I will do the same. And don't forget to cast compliment your Phoenicians.
Thank you for listening to the Main Street Electrical Podcast. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at the MSE Podcast, or visit our website at themsepodcast.com. Be sure to subscribe, and may all your wishes come true.